And we're live.
Hey everybody, welcome to the final season finale of PRN Sports. I'm here joined with Jett Parker and Tyrik Wynn. And first, we're going to talk about the new NFL season. That's cool. We'll talk about the Atlanta Falcons. They just released their schedule yesterday, so we're going to talk about that. So, Tyrik, what are your thoughts on the schedule?
What's good, everybody? It's Tyrik Wynn. So yeah, I looked at the Falcons schedule. That was released not too long ago. First matchup with the Seahawks, and this is actually going to be the first home opener at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So it's going to be a pretty big game. But yeah, Matt and Russell, it's going to be a pretty good game. I think so. And then looking at the rest of them, I think it's a it's a pretty, I would call it like a medium level schedule. I mean, you got some good teams in there. You got Green Bay, you got obviously the Panthers. I mean, not the Panthers. The Buccaneers are going to be a big factor this year. Then you got, of course, the Saints, and then you got the Vikings, who will most likely be pretty good, and then you also got Dallas, who might give us a run for our money. So yeah, we got some pretty good matchups up in there. But I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a pretty exciting year, I think. If I had a record prediction, I would probably say probably I'd say they'll probably come out with 9 to 10 wins.
So a playoff team.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. If they, it really just depends on what the Bucks do this year. If the Bucks come out, and because usually they're not a factor in the NFC South, pretty much. So if they come out swinging, and obviously the Saints are going to come out swinging. I'm not really sure what the Panthers are going to look like, but Bucks, Saints, I know they're going to come out swinging. So we just got to see what happens within those two teams, and that'll pretty much determine what happens with us.
I'm definitely taking the Saints to win the division yet again. I do not think that, even with the Buccaneers bringing in Tom Brady and uh, the old man Gronk, I don't think that they are going to be able to stop the Saints. I do think that the Bucks will sneak into the playoffs, into one of the wild card playoff spots. But as far as for the Falcons in this schedule that was released, I think it's interesting that it's going to be the AFC West that they're going to be playing against. So you got teams like the Broncos and the Chiefs, the Super Bowl defending Chiefs and Chargers and Raiders. I think that division will play a big role in deciding what the Falcons' season is going to look like. The Broncos and the Raiders have not looked as well, especially last season, as they have in previous seasons. And even the Chargers, if you remember the Chargers, what was it, I think it was 2 years ago. They were battling it out in the playoffs with the Patriots. So, I think that division is pretty weak, except for the Chiefs. So if they can come out strong there, then that's a good chunk of the season that they can get W's in. But it always comes down to what they're going to do with the NFC South. This year I think it's especially loaded with with what Tyreek said in the Saints and the Buccaneers, and I really don't think that that the Panthers are going to do much in that regard. But you know, it's I don't think that I'm going to have as let's see, what's the word? As nice of a projection in terms of wins as my colleague Tyreek here, but I do think that they'll sneak 7 wins. 7-9, I think, is my prediction.
So, like, as we all know it, they didn't have a good season last season. So, with the addition of Todd Gurley, do you think that this will help them get more wins, or will it play an impact, good or bad?
Well, in the running back scenario, I think because Devontae Freeman started to struggle, obviously, within that past year. So Todd Gurley, I think he's gonna be pretty good. He probably won't be as good as he was when he was on the Rams, but I think that he will be pretty decent, and I think he'll put up more runs than more running yards than Freeman. So I think he's a pretty good addition. I think he'll add a lot of value. You know, I would say probably one of the best in the NFC South. So I think that with him, it'll help get some more wins, and then that way, you know, we can do more. Have to throw the ball as much because you know we know what happens when that happens. So, but yeah, so I think with him being doing that and you know putting runs on the ground and you know getting high yardage, getting high percentages, I think he'll be a pretty good factor added up in there.
Yeah, as far as Todd Gurley goes, I think it's up in the air. I really don't know. He's had a plaguing injuries throughout his entire career, but more specifically in these past couple of seasons, pretty much ever since he led the Rams to the Super Bowl, pretty much on his back, I would argue. Um, but it is, I just don't know. I don't think that he will bring enough to the Falcons in order to make them into a serious contender. I think I think it was a decision made to save face with the front office and ownership and the fans to say that they're still trying, but I really don't think that he is worth the money, especially worth the money in this stage in his career and where the Falcons are in their playoff hopes.
Yeah. So there has been a new rule. So Tyreek, can you inform everybody the new rule, the changes that has been made?
Yes, I would be more than happy to. Okay, so as everybody knows, this big whole pass interference thing brought lots of controversy to the NFL. So now they have put in this new rule where the NFL will no longer review pass interference plays. This is something big. As you all know, those of you who watched the NFC Championship, which was not this past year, but the year before then, where the Saints had that play and pass interference was not called and they lost the game. So that's when kind of the whole pass interference thing sprung out of proportion, and it was a lot of arguments and stuff. So now there will be no more replays for this upcoming season. So if the refs don't see it, then and if it doesn't get called, it won't get called. So that's pretty much where they are with that. So that's pretty much it within the pass interference. My opinion on it, I will say that watching NFL for a long time, that the refs make mistakes. They make a lot of mistakes, and based on some of the mistakes they have won, cost people Super Bowl rings, cost people championships, and cost people a playoff spot. So I think their job is really valuable, but at the same time, I think that it should be reviewable because just what happened in that scenario, they didn't call it. And that's as a Falcon fan saying that. So if somebody like me that, then obviously they made a mistake on that play. So if you take a look at past plays that they've missed pass interference, it costs the team dearly. And when you make these type of mistakes in games, the game could come out a whole different way, especially if it's one of the last plays of the game. So I think that the rule I think the rule was very beneficial. Looking at last season, what happened, some calls that were not called were reviewed, and it did make a difference. So I think that it stayed for the remainder of time, pretty much.
Well, I don't think it should have been in place to begin with. I think that to single out one rule and say that this one is the one that needs to be reviewed, I think is a little bit strange, and I think that the whole decision to do that in the first place is very reactionary in terms of the play that Tyrik was talking about in the 2017 NFC Championship, I think it was, or 2018. I honestly don't remember. But no, it was 2018. But yeah, and I mean, you could argue from there that why isn't every rule or why isn't every penalty able to be reviewed if this one particular one can be reviewed? Yeah, it has, the most amount of penalty yards that you can get. You can go from, you know, the first yard on your side to the first yard on their side in an instant. But I don't know. I don't really buy it. I do want to know, Tyrik, as a Falcons fan, do you believe that the quote unquote miscall in the 2018 season and the quote unquote miscall in the 2019 season when the Saints played the Vikings, I think it was Mason Rudolph who scored the game winning touchdown. Do you think both of those were pass interference that were not called?
Okay, so okay, the one that was the NFC Championship, not this past year, but the year before that one.
So versus the Rams.
Yeah, the Rams. Okay, the Rams. That one, obviously, that was okay. So at the time, I was saying that at the time I was saying that it wasn't pass interference, but I only said that because I didn't want the Saints to come and play the Super Bowl in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Obviously, nobody in the city wanted because that would have been devastating if the Saints came here and you know how ghetto they be acting and blow the city up. So I mean, I didn't want to see all of that, and then you got all this gumbo all over the. We didn't want all that here. So I'm glad that the refs did make that mistake. But looking back at it now that it's all over and behind us, yes, it was pass interference.
Because I'm pretty sure I could find some tweets on your timeline that say, "Oh no, that wasn't pass interference. Nope, not no way."
Oh yeah, that man. I mean, back then that was just me being a fan. Really, I wasn't really it's me being a fan, giving my opinion. But back at it, I think it was a mistake made, and I think obviously looking at it from the perspective that we're looking at it right now is it probably definitely should have been called. But looking at it as a fan perspective, no.
Now the same thing, I mean, happened this past season against when the Vikings managed to beat the Saints in it was really a bad look for the Saints, not gonna lie. But at the end of the game, it was the same sort of play where it looked like pass interference. People say it was pass interference on both sides, or it was pass interference on the Vikings, but we had the rule in place then, and they didn't even choose to look at it. So what's the point in even having the rule to begin with if we're not even going to look at it? I mean, again, I'm a Falcons fan, but if we're going to have the rule, let's at least look at it. If not, what's the point in having the rule at all?
I don't see why take the rule away. And I see like a lot of situations like this is going to happen since they took the rule away. And they got like a lot of heat when that happened with the Saints. So I don't understand why they made this decision.
Beats me.
But yeah, so
well, all right.
That's where they are now. So.
Yeah. So I don't know. Okay, so Jett and Tyrik has now watched The Last Dance, so I'm gonna explain it. So The Last Dance has been playing every Sunday on ESPN. It's a 10-part series about Michael Jordan, his last year with the Bulls. So first episode 1 and 2, they was talking about how on the last season, the GM Jerry, cannot pronounce his last name, he told the head coach Phil Jackson this will be his last season with the Bulls. And Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan are like a couple. Not really, they're together. So if Phil leaves, Michael Jordan is leaving. So Jerry told Phil, this is your last season. I don't care if you win 82 games straight. Undefeated season, you're gone. And so basically the whole series is just, the whole 10 parts is talking about that. They even talked about Dennis Rodman, how he took a whole few months break, a vacation, went to Vegas while the season was going. And on this Sunday, they'll talk about how Michael Jordan punched Steve Kerr in the eye. So it's just going back to, Michael Jordan flash with the Bulls. It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
It's definitely
And
on my watch list. I've been busy with other things, and so I think it's good though that we've got some sort of sports content, even if it is a documentary, that can keep people occupied in terms of their sports satiations. But the I guess the question I'd like to pose to you guys is, I grew up in a post-Jordan world. I mean, for the most part, he was on the what was it, the Wizards at the very end. But there's been some people, in these new ages that say, MJ isn't the GOAT. So what are some opinions there? I mean, I don't know. I
I
know I have
mean,
mine, but I'll let you guys talk.
well, for me, I would say, I thought he was pretty elite, to be honest with you. But over time, I would say he was then, but now obviously we have LeBron and other people. But he was then he was the greatest of all time. Now we got some other players who are more relevant than he is. So I will say he does
who's
obviously
Barry
hold what.
relevant than Michael Jordan?
I mean, he's still. He's relevant. I'm not saying that he's irrelevant. I'm saying that he's relevant. Okay, okay. Let me explain what I'm trying to say. So he's still relevant. He's gonna be relevant forever. But I'm saying there are new people that come along, and there are good, and they are obviously good too. So he's still relevant. But I'm just saying there are other people who are good too. So I was just saying that he was good then, and now we have other people that are also good, is what I'm saying.
Watching this, I'm starting to think that he is the GOAT. Michael Jordan is.
Starting. Okay, so
Yeah,
let's
before I
backtrack.
did
Let's
think it was
backtrack.
LeBron.
Okay. Why
Well,
LeBron?
now because why not LeBron?
Why LeBron? Why LeBron to begin with?
I don't know, because that's what I grew up with. Like you said, like I didn't grow up in the '90s, so I didn't watch MJ. But now watching the documentary and his story and stuff like that, I'm still on the fence, but I'm leaning towards MJ. Why do you think LeBron? I
No, no,
know
no,
that's what you. I know you. You don't think
no,
LeBron?
no, absolutely not.
Who were you thinking?
MJ, are you kidding me?
Oh, you thinking MJ?
Yeah, no one
I think he's
else.
thinking LeBron.
No one else. I mean, in terms of what he did, I mean, I think that his skill level is undisputed. But I mean, in terms of what he did for the game, um, bringing it to such a massive market that he did, and increasing the relevancy of basketball in the United States as well as in the world, I don't think you could make an argument for anyone else in terms of increasing what basketball is in its most basic sense. You know, like increasing the availability, or not availability, but the just the love of the game overseas, I think is just so overlooked in terms of his legacy. Because I mean, if you look at it today, China is one of the largest, if not the largest. I really can't remember the statistic, but it's between the U.S. and China in terms of its watchability of the sport, in terms of who watches the game the most. Um, and then you see the rise in especially Eastern European countries in terms of the amount of players coming out of there. I really I don't I just can't see anyone else but MJ sitting at the top.
Would you say LeBron is second? Nope.
Um, no, I would put Kobe second.
You put Kobe second? Yeah. What was it? I think in this last episode they was talking about Kobe and MJ. And actually Kobe he did an interview for it before he passed. So yeah, he
Mm.
called Mike his older brother and Mike called him his little brother.
Yeah,
So that was very touching to watch.
I think that they were both born out of the same mold in terms of you know, their love of the game and their just competitive spirit. I don't think um, I mean, you know, you can talk about, you know, who would win in a one-on-one, you know, forever, but I just think that the two of them are just forever immortalized in terms of what they did for the sport. And I think that everyone that comes after them, you know, LeBron included and Kobe, you know, have them to thank.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Does anybody want to share any thoughts or have any topic to bring up?
Well, I do want to say that I'm very happy that school is over.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
me too.
I guess for our listeners that this may be their first time, all three of us, excuse me, are students at Georgia State University. And we all work at this student organization called PRN. And we do news and sports and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, I cannot be happier to say that I'm now a senior, and this will be
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
my final year at the university, and yeah, you know, just got to get those final grades in, I guess, until I'm technically a senior. But you know, at this point, what does it matter?
All right.
As it flew by, like they say.
Yeah, I think it's been weird. It's like like both at the same, like, yes and no, I guess is the way I would say. It seems like a long time ago that I was joining the university and like it was my first year and stuff like that. But it also seems like it's just flown by. I don't know. It's weird. It's like it's weird to say that I'm in my final year because it doesn't feel like I should be. But then again, I feel like I've done a lot since I've been here. So I don't know. I really don't know. You know.
Yeah. Well, for me, I'm a junior now, so this is the beginning.
Of the
Um,
end.
yeah. So yeah, since I like when I joined PRN as soon as I got to school because I had heard about it on my tour, and that was actually kind of one of the main that was actually kind of one of the main reasons that I came to Georgia State because I said if I go to a school, it has to be a school who has a TV station, and obviously Georgia State, had one, and so here I am. But yeah, that was like that played this like PRN played a really major role in my college picking decision, and so yeah, here I am. Great to be a Panther. It feels good, and glad that I've done. Let's see, I've done 5 semesters. I did a summer semester, and then of course I did 2 freshman and sophomore semesters. So yeah, very excited to be here, ready to go ahead and get this over with, so I can be ready to walk across the stage and
Oh my
go
goodness.
go. Yeah, I'm literally everybody keeps telling me not to rush it, and I'm not trying to rush it, but I'm just saying like I'm ready. It's like as soon as you graduate, you get the degree, more money start, more
Mhm.
offers come,
More offers.
More
everything's
money start rolling
yeah.
in.
Exactly. Like that's when the stuff's. I mean, stuff like right now, like lots of things are happening for me now. But as soon as I graduate, then it's some more major stuff that's gonna happen. More doors are gonna open, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get this career rolling, get this thing on the ball. So yeah, it needs to speed up.
I guess I should
Well,
ask
hopefully.
Krystal. You just finished your freshman year. Um, I guess talk to us what that was about. I mean, was was college anything that you expected it to be? And
Man, I made with my really fast, but Corona stopped half of my second semester and stuff. But I mean, I enjoyed it. PRN was definitely, I would say, like the highlight of it. Just being around y'all, people who want to do media and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. Got to meet a lot of people. So I enjoyed it. So, but I hope we be on campus next semester to meet more people and stuff like that. So I'm excited.
Well,
But
if
it definitely
Rona,
went by fast.
well, if Rona's still around, you ain't gonna see me. I'm gonna
We
be
go.
right here at this house. Look, I
Yeah.
ain't letting them fool me. They is not fooling me. And listen, they can open up like you see right now. I mean,
What?
I haven't had a haircut in forever,
I know.
and the
My
barbershops is
eyebrows.
open. I ain't going. What'd you say?
My eyebrows. I have not got them threaded. Wait, Tyreek, hold up.
Yeah,
So you saying this? If they open the campus in the fall, you still wouldn't come and Rona's around? Wait, what?
I ain't going. No, I ain't. No, if I'm saying if the corona is still around and they
Uh-huh.
open up campus, I ain't gonna be. You will not see me. I be dang. They is not gonna get me. Listen, I'm covered.
Rona ain't going nowhere.
Well, I ain't going. And listen, they sitting there. They doing testing in the blue light and stuff, and that's where I park it. I ain't going. No,
I saw
I
with
will
my own
not be there.
eyes. I saw that testing.
What? I
Yeah.
hope you just playing right now. I hope I. Come on.
No, I'm
Playing.
serious. If I don't feel safe, then I'm gonna just send
Yeah.
a nice little lovely email to my future teachers and be like, look, I ain't coming. Y'all can send me my work. You know, I do
Send
my
me
work
my
from
work.
home. I have one of my classmates FaceTime me so I can look at the lecture. But other than that, I will not be there. I'm sorry, but no.
Well, hopefully it pipes down by then.
Yeah, I hope
You know.
so. But you know,
But
if you know these people get it together, then you know, and
I mean, the
everybody
governor opened everything up, so people's going out now.
exactly. But he waited way too early. To be honest with you, and like I mean, you know, going to the press conferences and stuff. I mean, it really. I mean, if you look at the press conferences, no, don't know. Yes, actually, yesterday was better. When I went to the press conference yesterday, everybody they was wearing masks. Everybody had on protection and stuff. The previous press conferences, like the staff, nobody was wearing masks. Nobody was social distancing. Nobody was wearing gloves. So it's just
Hold
like
up.
they wasn't taking it serious.
Tyreek, you know I gotta laugh at you. Yeah, I don't know if you seen this picture from when Tyreek posted of him at the press conference. He's standing up next to a guy who don't have a mask on.
Oh.
Tyreek, that was not 6 feet, bro.
Listen, okay. Okay, yeah, you called me out on that one. But look, the only reason I wasn't standing is because I was trying to get on NBC National News. So I was like, let me tell you, it was worth it. Yo, when they sent me them pictures of me on NBC on Lester Holt show, I was like, you know what? I was like, you know, even hey, if the Rona had hit, it would have been worth it. I was on national TV. So hey, it was worth it.
You know, I do have to commend Tyreek. I think he has an innate ability to get himself into high-profile situations. He was on the Washington Post, he's been on MSNBC, he's been on CNN, all just out of the blue. Like, I'll be watching something or looking at an article, and Tyreek's just standing there in the background, or I see his mic flag sitting right up there, and it's like,
Yeah, we need to hang with him.
I'm
We
telling
need to hang
you,
with Tyreek.
he's got the mojo, I guess.
Literally, it's a struggle I had, and I guess I'll go ahead and talk about it.
Okay.
So if you're out at a if you're out on a story or something like that, or you're out at an event, so like I'll use the governor's press conference for example. So last press conference, Channel 2 was right beside me, and so he did his live shot. And when he did his live shot, his cameraman was like panning the room. So I got in front so I could be in the shot, and there I was in the shot. And then when it was time to ask, when the governor was taking questions from the media and stuff, when I got in line to ask my question, I got right behind the NBC lady, so that way it would be nice for me not to be on television. And boom, you turn the TV on at 7:00. There I was.
That's crazy. Too bad you had your mask on though, but
Yeah.
still good to have.
Yeah. So, but yeah, so those are some of my very few strategies that I use in my tactics and stuff. So,
Well, a little bit of self-promotion here. You can catch Tyreek's footage that he got at the
yes.
Georgia State Capitol at GSUPRN, and on the PRN podcast, or not podcast, newscast. We have so many things going on nowadays. I can't hardly keep straight. But yeah, so there you go.
Thank you all for watching. This is our season finale, so we'll be back next fall, well, this upcoming fall, with season 2 of PRN Sports. So thank you all. Bye.